Hi there! In today's video I'm going to show you how to warp our ribbon and tablet loom in an alternative method. I'm going to be illustrating with tablets, but the method of warping up would work just as well with a rigid heddle. So let's get started. Right, so the first thing is, you'll notice that I'm using cardboard tablets as opposed to the starter tablets that come with the kit. The reason for this is because I'm using silk, and silk, being lightweight, really does benefit from having thinner tablets. You can either make these yourself. Plain cards are a really popular choice because of the coating. Or you'll be able to get cardboard tablets in packs from our website. The nice thing about cardboard tablets as well is they don't add weight and they don't add bulk. So if you want to do 20 or 30 tablets, you're not spreading your hands out to deal with the turning of the tablets. It's quite a small area. So I've threaded up the tablet exactly as in my previous video and as the instructions, and I've knotted the right hand side. Only this time, instead of setting them all into the loom, I'm going to draw the threads through the tablet individually. So each tablet will go through this process. I've come to the end, and I'm just going to trim off the fact that those threads are a little uneven in length, just to make the next stage a little easier. So don't let go of that. We're going to bring the loom and the warp post forward. Set the tablet into the loom, and I've got the lock on. This is really important. Now I'm coming around underneath the loom, over the top, and then I'm going to divide these threads into two. So two either side, and then I'm going to tie them. You can come over the top the other way if you want to, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure, well, it's easier if they're consistent with all of your actual tablets. So basically what we're doing is we're tying that on individually and creating only a small knot, not a big huge one. And then I'll just place the tablet into the support just to help keep it straight whilst I work every other tablet. So I'll go ahead and do this and do it as a time lapse and speed it up a little bit for you so that you can see what I'm doing. That's now all of the warp threads tied onto the roller. Now what I'm going to do now is, just for neatness sake, to make sure that we don't get sort of confused with what we're doing, is I'm just going to trim off, I don't know if you can see that, I'm just going to trim off some of these tails because they irritate me. Right, now what we need to do is we need to roll all of the threads onto the beam. Now one way of doing this to ensure that things stay really neat and tidy is to use a piece of paper. I've used a piece of regular A4 paper and I've folded it in half to give it a little bit lengthways, just to give it a little bit more of structure. But you don't need to sort of go out of your way to get sort of heavy paper or anything like that. So we're going to roll away. And this is the hardest part, because what you want to do is you want to get that paper underneath there. Okay? Because as you roll, that paper is going to give a nice support for your threads. Just get that started, and you see I'm pulling them out with my hands to keep them a bit taut. Now what I'm going to do is pop the lock in so that I can turn the loom. Now this funny little shape thing that came in the kit, you can pop that onto the end to help you to turn the rollers. Okay, so grab hold of your tablets, place your hands, your fingers between the shed so that you can pull these a bit taut. And you have to get your positioning right, because you want to make sure that your tablets are moving freely, but that you're also holding these threads. This is the most important thing, is to hold these threads taut. We're going to release the tension, take off the brake, and then roll away. Now you see that paper is rolling up, and you'll notice that things are staying quite straight across the top of the roller there. Okay, so we've come so far. Just relax the tension for a minute. We pop that lock in. You can keep the central stick in if it's easier for you. For so few tablets, I don't tend to, but obviously that's entirely up to you. I'll pull my tension a little bit more, bring my tablets down. Comb through. Relax the tension just a little bit so I can drop those tablets down. Take off the brake. And guide threads through. Now I'm coming towards the end of the paper. So I'm going to pop the lock in. Again, check my tension. I'm going to slide another piece of paper underneath there. Now because it's starting to get a bit fuller, I'm not going to use that little roller. I'm going to use my hand to help to move the roller. So release the tension. I'm starting to get to the end, so I'm going to pop that stick back into place. You can see. Just because I want to get this nice and tight. Remove the lock, pull up the tension, and roll again with the new piece of paper tucked in. Release the tension again. My paper's a bit twisted, that's all right. Just straighten it out a little. Move my tablets again. Release the tension. Remove the lock. Pull up the tension again. And roll again. And that's about where I'm at. And I can start to tie on the other side now. Now on this side, on the cloth side, you can either tie each of those on individually, as we just did, or you can go ahead and you could tie it all on as one. You'll see the unevenness, and that's because of the overhand knots and then comparing to the other side. So you will have wastage this method, there's no doubt about it. Or we can use the waste thread method that's in the instruction book and shown in my other video, which is what I'm going to do here for this side, because this is the starting edge and I'm not really worried about it either way. So waist length of thread, fold it in half. Pop it over the roller and bring the two ends up through that loop. Now that those threads can be tied to the warp. I like to usually try to tie it through the center. But because this is uneven, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a nice big overhand knot, having pulled that tension, got that nice. So I'm tying all the threads together in an overhand knot. Get rid of all of these tails that are uneven. And then I'm going to take that through the first shed, and I'm going to connect this with a couple of half hitches. Well, actually 3. As you know, I'm a 3-knot gal. I'm just going to tighten up my tension a little so that's nice and taut. Let's see, let's go just a little bit further. Pop another stop in, and we are now ready to weave. We get all of our tablets in position. As you weave and you unroll, the paper will drop out. But as you can see, this is a great way. Everything is quite smooth there and flat. I'll just Actually, it's probably easier to see it from that angle. And I'll put the mat behind so you can really see it. So it's quite smooth and flat. Now obviously that is brilliant for your tension. And you can use this method with the rigid heddle or even string heddles on this loom. And that's the best way to warp up for long lengths. Thanks ever so much for watching. Do please subscribe, click like, and of course, let me know what else you'd like to see, and I'll see if I can do a video for you. Thanks very much then. Bye-bye.